Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of Let's Talk series, and I'm really excited to have Venkatesh with me. And today's topic is breaking into product management. So he'll be sharing his insights. He's been working with Internshala for almost 2 years or 1.5 years, I guess, and he has really been one of those who have get into this field quite early. So let's get to him and let's get his views and how he reached to internship, etc. So he'll share his story with us. So let's get to Venkatesh. Hey Venkatesh, so please share with us your path to into this particular domain of product management. Yeah.
Hi, Kit. It's really fun to be here on your show. I've joined Internshala as a product manager in September 2019. So it has been 1 year and 4 months since I've joined Internshala. Prior to this, I worked on my own startup, that is Front Bench, to create a marketplace for one-to-one mentorship, and also graduated in 2019. So yeah, that's pretty much all about me.
That's really awesome. So yeah, like when we talk about this particular field of product management, like people generally say that it's quite complicated and a hard field. You need to do a lot of management kind of stuff. And for a person like you, is super new to this field, like just graduated and getting into this directly. So how you feel being there, like how it's to be at the product manager position at Interjala, and how you managed to cope up, like how it went through when you get into this directly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks for asking this question. I think this is very close to my heart. Every day at Internshala as a product manager has been a great learning curve for me because every day I'm showered with customer problems and I have to come up with solutions to solve it up. So really, it has been a great learning curve for me. Apart from that, I think product management is one domain which sits at the intersection of business, technology, and customer. So you have a holistic view of what is happening in your company, what is happening in the product. And I also believe that product managers are the advocate of the customers. So they are the only advocate of the customer in your company, because different teams will talk about different stuff in the company. The marketing would be more concerned about the conversion rate. The sales team would want more sales, and so forth, and so on and so forth. So you're the only advocate of the customer, and it really feels great to build something that users or the customers really love. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's great, man. Like that's quite a lot of experience you had in just such a short period of time. So yeah, let's start with the very first question of today. So yeah, it is like the basic thing. What is product management, and right, and like what is product management and what actually product managers do, like many of us won't be aware about it, that what exact kind of work you actually do, like it's quite pretty obvious that you manage things, but like what kind of things you manage, and and like definitely, and what is actually product management. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you would ask me to define product management, I'd call it it's both an art and a science. It's a domain where you extensively solve for customer problems, and you're really mad about solving the customer problem. So I'd say that product manager is the guy who sits at the intersection of business, technology, and customers, and the only objective he has in his work is to ensure that the customers are happy when they use their product. So this is how I'll define product management and product manager.
That's pretty neat answer. Okay, so let's get to the main, the even like how you break into product management. Like what all kind of skill set you need. So like if I want to get into product management, then what all kind of stuff I need to do or prepare, so that I can make it into it. Like maybe I am an experienced person, or maybe I'm just graduating like you. So in that case, what are the things that I need to do? Maybe do some kind of preparation to get into this field. Yeah, according to. Yeah.
Yeah, Kit, for young graduates, there are two scenarios that can lead you to break into product management. The first, I would say, is the ideal scenario. You're from the top IITs or top IIMs of this country, and you hope that the companies are coming for campus recruitment and they're hiring for the product role. But again, this happens for a small minority of people in this country. So if you don't belong to those colleges, I'd say it's important to build your digital portfolio, because the world doesn't know you. You don't
Yeah, so
becomes
what do you
very
mean by
important.
digital portfolio? Like, digital portfolio. So what do you mean by that? Like, what all comes into it? Like, pro sites or something. What exactly in digital portfolio?
Yeah, okay. So, in life, an individual is measured by his past credentials, because what you can show to the world is what you are. You have to show to the world that you have certain capabilities and credentials. So, if you are not from an institute that has a high pedigree, it's important that you show to the world that you belong to that stream where you can think big, you can execute big, and you can talk big. So it's important to build that digital portfolio. And by building a digital portfolio, I mean that you should have the ability to show the talents that you have to the digital world, to a larger set of audience. So if I have to be specific about product management, I'd say that if you want to be a product manager, you should be really curious about what's happening in different domains, what's happening in edtech, what's happening in fintech, what's happening in ad world around, or in different domains. And you have to show your knowledge to the world. You can write a Substack, you can write a Medium blog, you can write Twitter threads on that, and let the world know that you are a thinking man, and whatever problem you will be showered in your life next, you'll be able to solve that. Apart from that, I also believe that it's important to network with people. So once you build your digital portfolio and you're giving value to the community, and by value I means you're just contributing to the wholesome game, and it's leading to a positive sum game, where you are just imparting some knowledge, and the world is also gaining from that knowledge, and then it's create a beautiful environment. And then you can network with people around, talk to them, that how did they break into product management, what the skills they need. And if you are able to connect with some founders or some product head of organizations, you can pitch in that you can be the right guy, you can fit into the role. And yeah, that is how you can break into this role, Ankit.
Yeah, so like you mean that I need to be super active on digital medias like LinkedIn. Like you meant like I need to make a very strong digital profile. So like I need to have a very super strong profile on LinkedIn and connect with people over there, or like there are other ways also that I can somehow get connect with the top people who can help me get into this role.
Yeah, Ankit, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, let's move to the next question that we have. Like it's pretty much connected to the previous one as well. Like what resources like you can suggest that a person who's looking into to get into this particular field can follow or can take benefit from. So, any resources that you would like to tell our audience about?
Yeah, okay, sure. So I think the first step regarding if you want to break into product management is you should understand that what product management is. And I think a simple Google search that what product management is and what does product manager do can help. After that, I'd suggest to start with a book. There's a book called as Decode and Conquer. It gives all the list of exhaustive questions and frameworks that are asked in the interview. So it's important to go through that, because ultimately you sit in that interview and you have to crack it. So Decode and Conquer is a good book to start with. Then again, you should go on Twitter and follow all those product mesihas, or product people who share their
Any
insights and try
suggestions?
to learn from
Any
them.
examples you like to mention? That will make it more clear.
I think there are a couple of examples, like you can follow Shreyas Doshi, who is the product manager at Stripe, then Sachin Reiki, he just introduces product management so fluently. And then there are a couple of people, like you can follow Kunal Shah in general, or Sridhar Rainbow, and all these people to gain insights and nuggets of wisdoms in your life. So once you're done with it, I'd suggest that you should actually go and read the book Decode and Conquer. And once you finish it, you should go and search on YouTube. There are different channels which helps you to prepare for product management interviews, like Product Alliance, Product School, or Exponent. So you can refer to that. And also, it's a good idea to practice questions. So one website that I find pretty good, and I have used it for my interview prep practice, is productmanagementexercises.com. So it's a good resource where you can really prepare for product management interviews. And this is how you can get started. But Ankit, one thing I'd like to mention, that for different people the path can be very different. So I've seen people who have transitioned into product role in organizations where they were working past as software developers or analysts, and then there are people who have to like really work hard to get into product role. So the path can be really very different. You have to choose, like, you have to choose that which path will suit you the best.
No, that's super great. Like you gave a lot of resources, and like I'll try to put them together and put it in the description. And after we complete with this, so yeah, let's when we talk about product management, like I don't know a lot about it, but a little what I know is that it's like one of the main things that people deal with is customer satisfaction. Like dealing with customers to integrate what they want, etc. So how do people term it as solving customer problem is itself a problem. So how you deal with this problem? Yeah.
Ankit, customers are a very tricky affair when building a businesses, because ultimately you're building things for your customers, and they are the one that will pay you and that will ensure that your business is running. So it's very important to take care of your customers. But customers, sometimes they can be vocal if your product is like Zomato or Swiggy, or sometimes they just don't give a shit of what is happening around your product. So they might give your product a try, and like if your product is not that good, they will just dump it in the first go and they will never come back to your product. So it depends on the different phases your product is in, Ankit. But I think the core essence of product management is all about understanding your customer needs. So I give an example of this, that I've been working on the HR tech product. So my product is a recruitment product, and I work on the portal that the recruiters or employers use to hire interns and freshers all across this country. So we have an application tracking system where you receive all the applications and you can track it, and then take further action, that is, you can hire the candidate or reject them. So we had certain buckets, like you receive applications, then you can shortlist it, and then you can hire or reject the candidate. Now, the problem was that I was talking to a customer, because some customer were facing issues with the payment on our portal. And then when I was talking to the customers, like, some of the customers mentioned that we have a pain point, that we want to schedule interview, we want to send assignments, and the buckets are so less that we just use an Excel sheet to track the progress of the candidates. And so that was one insight that I got from my customers, and then we validated it for a larger set of customers and realized that this is a greater problem that we need to solve. So yeah, the insights can come from customers at many a time, and those are really great insights. The other way around, is to look at data, because data gives you the right thing, what is happening in your product. So you can look at the data, you can look at the insights and understand that what is helping the customers and what is not helping your customers, and then build things around it. So yeah, these are the two ways, Ankit, one can proceed with.
Yeah, so you kept it very neat that it's super easy, but is it that easy, like handling customers? Because they are like people really term this thing as that sometimes customers can be really trying to get a lot of things from you, or maybe they are asking a lot, maybe something like that. So is it that easy that always you can figure out to satisfy your customers, or there are times that you have to, let's say, that deal with it? Like, what do you say about this?
Ankit, as product managers, you are always on the way to do the right trade-off, the right trade-off between what the customer want and what your business wants. So you always have to strike a fine balance. Now, I quote an example in our product. So, when you're searching for an internship or internshala, a lot of users or customers ask that we should give, a bookmark feature, so that they can just bookmark those internships and apply later. So this was a request that we were getting from a lot of customers, and we thought, oh yeah, let's build it, because we are getting a request from a lot of customers, and we built out that feature. Once we built out that feature and we rolled an A/B experiment for that, and then Ankit, we found out that the application rate has dropped. It has dropped because a lot of students were bookmarking their internship, and then a lot of procrastination happened, and they never applied for that internship. So our application rate dropped. So that was a trade-off. It's a very direct trade-off
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are back again. We had a small problem. So yeah, like you were talking about customer problems. Like you were discussing about that. Yeah, that.
Yeah, so a lot of I was just reiterating that a lot of customers, wanted a bookmark feature on the search page of internships. That is, they search for internships, and after that they can bookmark those internships and apply later. And we were getting these requests from a lot of customers, and we thought that this is such a good feature to build on, and we really built out the feature and rolled an A/B experiment. And then we found out that for the users whom we have rolled out this experiment, we found that the application rate has dropped. That means when we rolled out this feature for a set of users, they were not applying for internships because maybe they were procrastinating a lot. So there's a direct trade-off between what your customer want and what our business metric was. Like application rate is a core business metric, and finally we have to like roll back that feature. So this is how you maintain a fine trade-off between what your customers want and what your business wants. So I think there should always be a fine balance between both of this. You shouldn't mindlessly go about what your customers are asking for. If the data point is large enough, if a lot of customers are asking for it, then it makes sense. But even though you have to validate it across, that is it fitting your business need and business model? Else, these are not sufficient data points. Now you can talk to one or two customers and realize the pain point, but the important question to ask yourself is that is it happening for many customers, and will it add value to a substantial set of customers who are using your product?
Yeah, so we can assume that like you will listen to customer, but you're gonna also calibrate it with the data and what data says. If it's for a lot of people, then you should go for it. That's the main idea, I guess. So yeah, like you have been working for quite a while now. So what are the parts of your job that you really enjoy? Like you say that yeah, this is the thing I really enjoying. This is a part of the job that I really is very interesting for me to do. So you like to share like what are the parts of your job that you really enjoy?
I would define a product manager role in three parts. The first is having a good product sense. The second is having a great executional skill, and also having a great analytical skill. So I think these are the three components of a product manager's skills. So I think I've enjoyed uh, all of these three. The first is the product sense. So I was really fortunate to work on a brand new product, a new business line that Internshala was launching. So I worked from scratch on Internshala's fresher job portal on the recruitment side. So that gave me enough idea about how businesses are built, how products are built from scratch, and how do you iterate to obtain a product market fit. The next, Ankit, is executional skills. It may sound very boring, but as product managers, you have to ensure that the execution of your product, of the feature you're building, is going smoothly. And that is one major component where a product manager has to play a part of, has to play the role of project manager, which many people dislike, that they don't want to be project managers. But ultimately you have to ensure that the product or the feature that you're building gets shipped on time, and you have to align different stakeholders to the problem statement that you are married with and your top leadership team is married with. So that is very important. The third, Ankit, I would say, is the analytical skills. I don't weigh myself very high on this part, but this is something that I look to improve. But understanding the whys as a product manager is very important. So why certain thing has happened and why certain thing has not happened. So okay, one thing that I would like to mention, as a product manager, we always inquire about like why certain things have not happened, and we really go we really deep dive and try to find out that why is it happening. But when something goes fine, we never care that why has it gone fine. Now if we roll out certain feature in our product and the matrix have improved, we never cared about in deep that why has the matrix improved. So I think it's important to explore the whys behind why certain things has happened and why certain things haven't happened. So I think these are the three skills of a product managers, and I my day-to-day work revolves around all these three skills, and I really enjoy it.
Okay, great. So, like, really that was quite, lot of things that you do as being a product manager. So again, being a product manager, you need to deal with a lot of stakeholders, like the top management, their team, and I also need to take care of the timeline and other stuff. So how you find it, like being so new to this particular field, and not having a prior experience into this and directly getting into this, how you feel and how hard it is to manage this thing. And you, like, if you want to share some tips as well, like how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is a very interesting question because when I first joined as a product manager, I was quite overwhelmed because I was interacting with a lot of people. I was interacting with data scientists, analysts, designers, developers, the leadership team, the business team, marketing, operations team. And I really felt so overwhelmed that even if I'm capable of doing this task, but as time rolls out, you have your own share of experiences and you learn things on your own. But I think the roles and responsibilities in a company, in an organization, are well defined. So the leadership team always defines the vision, and as PMs, as early PMs like I am in my career, I have to execute those tasks. So I think it's a kind of approach that happens that way. The other way around is the PMs can also initiate a task and be owners of that task, and then they have to take the leadership team into confidence that why the PMs are thinking that certain things should be there in the product or should be built, or why certain things shouldn't be there in the product. And then once you align your leadership team with the values and the mission that you have, it's then up to your execution ability to get it done and make that feature live. So yeah, that happens this way, Ankit.
Yeah, that's pretty much, that you have to deal with a lot of people. So, let's continue with that only. Like, I need to add in this that, okay, that you are try to explain everyone, what is the right thing, what you feel about it, and like etc. But let's say the CEO of the company comes to you and say, hey, listen, Venkatesh, I want to get this done. I feel it's very perfect thing to do, and I want to get it done. Just do it. And like you have a lot of experience doing it. You know that it will be a waste of time, and it may not work out. So under that situation, how are you gonna handle it? Like, you're gonna go and explain him everything, or just start working? I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable. Yeah.
No, okay, that doesn't make me really uncomfortable. So I think whenever we get a task from the leadership team, it's important to understand the context, because you cannot really start building out something and work on something without having the proper context. So you can ask, and always the leadership team comes up with the context that why they want certain things and why they think that certain things can work. So everything when you're building things is based on assumptions and your hypothesis, and then you validate it by building products in the real world. And so if my CEO comes up and offers me something to do, I'd ask him the context, that why are we building it and why is it necessary, and what are the possible pitfalls that you can think of. And then I could also think on my end, and if I'm not aligned with my CEO, I can always drop a mail, and then we can have a brainstorming session that this is what I think and this is how it should be. And then there's always a healthy dialogue between PMs and leadership team here at Internship. So it's a happy place to be in.
That's awesome, man. Like, I guess all the workplaces are like that, I hope. So yeah, like, when we talk about products and product management, etc., the main thing that comes out, or at least one of the most important aspect, is customer trust. You need to build a customer base. You need to make your customer trust you. Like, if we talk about iPhones or maybe Apple, the products are sold just because, like, not just only on this, but they do have a brand value at least. So what are different things that you do, to ensure that your customers are, in fact, following your product, and are, are like going behind your product and following you, etc. Like, there are a lot of options, or are coming in, but what are the things that you do to keep to maintain that trust in your customers in your company? Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit, I think trust is one of the most important asset that any business can have in this era. We are the market leaders in when it comes to internship hiring. We have 10 million active students on our platform, and we have a whole set of employers that are spanning across all across this country. So we have built our business over trust. And I think one of the main reasons why Internshala has succeeded over the years is because we have built a trusted community. If you look on the surface, Internshala may sound as a marketplace, two-sided marketplace for students and employers, but we have really formed a trusted community. We go deep and help our students and employers to resolve issue. Once they hire someone till the time they have an onboarding, even to the time of salary negotiation, or someone just ghosts one another. So we take all these steps and actually try to ensure that whoever is using our platform and is use our platform gets the right set of values from our product and business.
Yeah,
And
that's
so I think trust is a more important factor, okay, for any businesses in this era to survive and grow.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely that's an important aspect for everyone. To have customers, because finally, in the at the end of the day, you're making the products for the customers. So definitely, their opinion and those things definitely matter. So like with so far, like we are talking about product management and product managers, etc. But what do you feel? Like there's a conventional route to do these things, like you do a particular course, or you do get some experience in this and get into this field. But what about the disruption being done by let's say if we talk about Elon, or we talk about Steve Jobs, like they were not the perfect product managers, or like they had a lot of experience. Rather, we can say that Apple has a history where a perfect product manager was not able to make it successful in place of Steve. So what do you think, like for product management, is it like it is necessary to follow the conventional line, or sometime you can go out of the line and be disruptive? Like what is, like being in a product management field, what is more important, following the methodologies or different layouts, frameworks, or you need to get out of the way and do something different?
Pretty interesting, Ankit. So I have a question for you. What do you think, is product management an art or a science?
I'm a noob in it, right? I don't know product management. I don't have much experience, but as a layman's perspective, I feel product management is something that you need to have both of the worlds, because if you are not creative enough, then you're if all the different processes, etc., may take you somewhere. But I guess we can see the example. Apple was able to beat Nokia and these great companies just because of being a little different in their products. But however, the original, like even if you talk about Macintosh, right, which I'm using right now, man, it was something that people were saying will not gonna happen, it's not gonna be a perfect thing, but we see today. So if I talk about me, maybe I'll say it's a mix of both. But I love to get an idea from an expert like you. Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit, I'm not an expert, but I would rather continue from where you left. So I think, yeah, product management is an art and science. I think it's a combination of both. When you look the history of how the world has evolved, all the creative people in the world has been very great artists, and these people have taken the world to the next level because they had the ability to think out of box and do things, which was non-conventional. So if you follow Kunal Shah, who is the founder of Correct, he said that anyone who excels at performance art, and by performance art I mean if someone is a musician, or a a rock artist, or a painter, or someone like that, he excels at product management. So that itself speaks of the fact and the volume that how much product management is an art. And art, there is no definition of what is an art and who is an artist. So there's no proper definition that you have an MBA degree so you can be a great product manager. You have built a startup before so you can be a great product manager. So there are no definitions for it. And these are the places where people like Steve Jobs, or someone like Bill Gates really fit in, because they come in with with first principle thinking. How can I forget Elon Musk? And these guys have really crept in that space, and they've taken the bar of building products, building businesses to next levels, and that is why they have been highly successful. So I think there are no proper definitions that who are product managers. I think if I have to define in one word, I would say that the builders, the people who are passionate to build and change this world, are the greatest product managers, because they have a larger than life mission and vision to
Yeah,
create it.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to add to it is that, like, for, okay, that's awesome that, we can see that happen. But, for a normal person like me, let's say I want to get into this product management stuff like that. So which path should I go for? Like I have an idea. I have an idea that I feel gonna be perfect. So, should I go on directly and start making products and then expect that based on those products or whatever I do today, maybe I can get into a big company as a product manager, or maybe I should go the traditional path and go through all the certifications and different stuff I require to be even eligible to get into it. Because definitely it's quite obvious if we see the world as a whole that these people have been in a league different from the whole of the the other whole corporate world. But at the end of the day, man, like for a person like me, if I want to get something done, I need to go through the traditional process. So what do you suggest, for a person, for a layman person, that if I want to get into this, then should I follow the traditional path, or disruptive path is the way for me?
Ankit, I don't think anyone follows a disruptive path. I think they are passionate enough and things just happen, because I always believe that, life is not about, you know, black and white. It's all about perseverance, grit, your dreams and ambitions at large. So you cannot say that I will be Elon Musk or I will be Bill Gates, because you never know that how life can turn out. But if you are, if you're giving your daily share of hard work and creeping in every day with rigor and all your work that you are supposed to do, who knows, you can be greater than even Elon Musk. But for breaking into product management, I think in India, if you look at, so there are two three ways on how you can break into product management. The first is, suppose you're working in a product based company. I'd quote, maybe I would quote Zomato. So you're working as a business analyst, or as a software developer in Zomato, and then you can understand that how product managers function in your organization, because you'll be closely working with them. And then you take up the ownership of product managers. Like when the PRD is shared with you, you can really share your insights that I think that this thing can happen certain way, or this thing can be done like this. And then when there is a internal vacancy or a switching, you can apply for internal switching and get into that role. So that is one way around. The second way is get an MBA, because a lot of companies, they come to MBA colleges and hire product managers. So that is the second way around. The third way is you gain a share of your experience. As an entrepreneur, you have built things in the past, but you couldn't scale, and you couldn't scale it. So then you can land up into the product manager role. I think the fourth is, as a fresher, you should be really curious. You should really read a lot. You should see what is happening around, and then you can build your digital portfolio and reach out to the right set of people and ask them that you're interested for product management role. So for different people, the path can be very different, because the world doesn't move in a straight line. It's all about zigzag paths in your life. So I think you can follow any of these paths in your life, and you can get into product management. It's not a big deal.
That's great. So let's get back to to the product management, the main thing. So yeah, like like you being a product manager, like you need to handle competitors as well. Like there are, because any product you make, there are a lot of competition to it also going on. So as a being a product manager, how you approach to handle competitions, and like how hard it is actually. Like sometimes people say that it's sometimes it can be really hard to manage your competitors. So like at your position, if you are you have to if you have to handle competition, or try to stay ahead of them, what are the things that you will do? Yeah, and also share your tips about it as well. Yeah.
When you talk about competitors, Sankit, there are a lot of things that matter. First is how the business model of your and your customers are same or different. So if your business models are different, so you don't care about your customers a lot. Sorry, your competitors a lot. The second thing is, what are the values that you have and the values that your customers have. You can be a leading ed tech firm with proper set of values, and you're fighting against white hat junior. So should you really care about your competitor, is another question. The third is, at the product strategy level. So if you think that your competitor is also moving on the same product strategy as yours, or they are copying your product strategy, then I think, Ankit, you can really don't do anything with that. But as as PMs, we always look into what competitors are doing. We look into their product, we look how the UX and UI of their product is, what are the things they are doing differently, what is the aha factor in their product, that I would want to have in my product, and gain all those insights from the product, and try to, have all those best values that you see in the competitor product in our product. And I think this is how most companies and most product people do it. They look at competitors, very deeply, and try to understand their product, their dimension of building, their thought process, and try to have the best practices of all this product into their own product.
Yeah, that's great. But like the first part of your answer, I would like to add to it. Like you'll say that let's say Whitehead Junior is starting, and it's very small compared to our product, or our at least our market share. But how about if we just go back and get into this case study of Ford and Tesla. Let's we are talking about these guys. Then there was a time when Ford was at a peak, okay, and they were told that Tesla is coming up, they're making electric car, and they were like, oh man, come on, like they are nothing, they'll just soon die. But today the tide has turned. They are the biggest company, most valued company in the world. So is it good enough to like ignore your competitors even if they are very small? Because there are various examples where the big guys have been have fallen to those small agile, rather the bigger organizations are somewhat less agile as compared to these guys or small startups. So how you handle this, because it can be a process making, like decision making can be quite take time in a company as compared to these guys where like they are just decisions are made in a day maybe.
Yeah, okay, correct. Technology can make businesses obsolete very fast. So you can see the example that you mentioned of Tesla and Ford. I'd give another example of how Kodak used to rule the world of photography. Then cameras, digital cameras, and mobile phones and DSLRs happened, and now Kodak has shut down his business. So you never know. Technology evolves at such an exponential pace that you have to keep up with it. So it's a problem with larger organization. They have built an elephant culture in their organization. It's really hard to move up with the technological shift that happens, and that is why many startups come over the time, and they really do very well. So yeah, so that happens always around businesses, and that is happening since the time we humans have been building businesses.
that's that's a great insightful thing. So like we were talking about competitors and other kind of stuff, right? So let's say that you got this a new idea, or maybe like we were talking about technology, right? So let's say that a new technology has come into like it's disrupting your particular market, and like you don't have that thing implemented. So what do like you integrate that thing in your project, like as you mentioned that you keep on looking and be aware about the products of your competitors. So either you directly pull it into your product, or is there a way or some strategy that you deploy so that that you still maintain a product, because it's quite possible that something new that has just come in the market might be might make your business model obsolete.
Yeah, Ankit, this can happen because as I told, the technology changes very fast, and you have to make those trade-offs when your competitors are really doing very well, and you need to understand that why they have done they have done very well than you. Is it because of they have a superior technology, or they have a massive distribution, or they have a great marketing behind it, and why are they able to just defeat you and be ahead? So I think you have to evaluate, because these things aren't just limited to product. I think this is more, at a wider level. This is more aligned to the strategy and the business values and the business model the companies operate. And so when you see a competitor has drastically impacted your business, I think it's the time to reimagine your business. So reimagining your product is just one part of it. I would say that the bigger part is your business. You should be really able to reimagine your business, and think that, like, is it a major challenge, and like, are we becoming obsolete, and should we start from we reinvent the wheel, and be agile and just start over again. So these are different challenges that you get when the competitors are moving very fast. You can take the recent example of Slack versus Microsoft Teams.
Exactly.
Slack is an awesome product. It's an awesome
I'm
product, and
fan of it
its
personally.
growth
Yeah.
its growth year on year was impressive, and it was doing good. And then nowhere down the line this pandemic came, and then everyone started working from home. The remote work became, hit the new norm, and then you see that Microsoft team just has 10x more, users than Slack. And then as Slack was actually then acquired by Salesforce. So
Hmm.
businesses, the dynamics of businesses can change very fast. Your competitors can come, anything can happen. You have to be really prepared for it.
No, that's definitely, we can say that market is quite volatile, you never know what can happen when. So, but, in that point, like, let's get to this, question as well. Like, ideas are something that, you need to have to keep on improving your products, right? So if you talk about ideas, like, sometimes, like, maybe you're not able to get some good ideas to improve your products, but you see that, around you some good ideas are floating in. So what do you think? You can just go out and grab those ideas and put it in a product. You just rely on, developing your in-house ideas only, like, you don't believe in, copying or stealing other ideas. So how do you think, like, if you're developing something, you should take others ideas if you find them good, or you should just, just focus on your in-house ideas only? Yeah.
Well, Ankit, I don't believe that there is something as copying the idea. I'd rather put it very softly that you take inspiration from best things around you. If you take the example of, the stories feature that you see on all social media platforms. So it was first introduced by Snapchat, and now every social media has it. Instagram has it, or Twitter has it in form of fleets. LinkedIn has it, Facebook has it, WhatsApp has it, and there is a joke that MS Excel will also have stories in future. So it's not about copying. So if you think, if you see that a certain feature is doing really very good, you can always incorporate in your product. Ankit, I tell you a very basic thing. This feature of copy paste. Control C, Control V. This was also a very brand new feature in the 1950s. Someone invented it, but anywhere you go around the world, copy paste is something which is very integral to our life. So when something new feature when some new feature or product is developed, over the time it becomes an integral part of our life, Ankit. So it happens, and I think there's no harm. You can take inspiration from the best things around the world and really incorporate in your business, in your product, and satisfy your customers for whom you are ultimately building for.
Yeah, but don't you think that it also starts a kind of a race among companies? Let's say that you're developing something and others are just following it. Maybe you can keep your techniques top secret, but at least what you did is public. People can follow you. Like if we take a very popular example of if we go to the Soviet era, then there was a lot of race going between USA and Russia, and the main reason that we reached moon at that part of time was this only. So what is your strategy to to make that happen? Because if we talk about some great people, like even Elon said that he is quite happy to distribute his idea to everyone, but like he feels that you should move at a pace that faster than the others, so that others, even if they try to copy you, they are behind you. So what is your take on this, that how you handled it at your company? Yeah.
Pretty like Ankit, this is a good question. This depends on the nature of the business that you're operating in. So if I say about space technology or defense technology, your technology is very sacred to you, and the nations that develop this technologies normally don't share the technology with any other country of the world. And that's a multi-billion-dollar business, because the technology that you have used to develop spacecraft, aircraft, and all those stuff is very valuable to it, because it takes years to develop, and it's very hard to copy those technologies. But on the other hand, if you look at digital businesses, Ankit, I don't think that technology is your competitive advantage, because in this day you can easily copy technology. You can have some exceptions, like you can look at Google and say that it's hard to copy the mode of the businesses that they have built, but that is another thing. But if you look at Zomato or Swiggy, or any other Indian company like Ola or Uber, or if you can just quote other examples like Big Basket, Grofers, the technology is in fancy. These technologies can be copied. Anyone who knows mobile development can copy it. But the essence is, Ankit, is you're building a brand. You are making your customers who are using it to trust you, and then you're building a business. And so this is how digital businesses are different from the other business like defense or spacecraft or aircraft businesses, and this is how both of them are fundamentally different, Ankit.
Yeah, but like like that's pretty clear that they are different, right? Even like for Google also, there are copies. Like I won't say copies, but like even before Google, the search engines were there, like not in the form of Google, but even today we have like we have your Ask was used to exist. Like I use it way back in time. Then you definitely have Bing, etc. Those kind of stuff are there in the market, but Google still leads, and the main reason is maybe the sheer size or their sheer like people who get into internet start with Google only. So like maybe it's the monopoly that helps them go ahead. Maybe that could be a reason, but okay, that's pretty much that could be related to that. But let's say that let's get back to to the product management. Okay, so like let's say that if I want to get into product management or like break into it, like what all things I can expect in the interview as a whole. Like if I being interviewed by a firm or something, that what are the main things, or maybe like you are in this field, you could be like quite aware about what are the things actually a company is looking for in a product manager. So like if you can share or put some light on it, that what are the specific skills that one need to have, or at least develop before getting into this. Yeah.
I think, Ankit, there are a couple of skills that you should have before you apply for a product manager role. The first is the design sense. So you should know the basics of UI and UX. So it's important to understand that what a good UI is all about and how great user experience can can change the customer's interaction with the product altogether. So I think design sense is one thing that you can definitely cultivate. You can have multiple courses on UI and UX and try to understand the thought process of designing something. So that is one Ankit, important skill. The other important skill I'd say is the analytical skills. So it's important to understand the matrix that the businesses follow all across the world, and you should be really good with numbers and extracting the data. So SQL is one important trait, and MS Excel that product managers should know. So these are the hard skills those you need to have, you need to develop in your arsenal. The other skills are more more refined skills like product design, or you thinking about the industry that you're applying to. So I'd suggest that you should practice questions of product design, and then you should really read a lot. You should understand. So suppose, Ankit, if you're applying for an edtech company, if you're applying for an academy, you should understand that what is edtech, how edtech operates in India, what are the challenges of it, what are the different competitors, what is the business model, how they are acquiring customers, what is their mission, what is their vision, how they are generating revenue, what is their business model, what is their year-on-year growth. So you should do all those research in the background and understand about the company, the business, the industry that you are applying to. Apart from that, I've mentioned earlier also that we should refer to the book Decode and Conquer. It's a pretty good book. You get all the necessary framework of how you should prepare for product management interviews. So that is one part of it. The other is, you should really read a lot. I would say that if applying for an edtech company, know everything about edtech, and that really helps in the interviews, because you can present yourself that you have the knowledge, the domain knowledge about edtechs, and that can help you to crack those interviews. Apart from that, Ankit, I think there are case studies, so you can get case studies on designing a product. So say you can get a case study like design an app to buy and sell used cars. So that can be a case study, and you have to like design. You have to like make a blueprint of the design, all that. That there are case studies around executional problems, like you are the product manager of Flipkart, and then say you see one day, fine day, that the cart addition matrix has dropped by 10%. So how will you find out the root cause, that why is it happening? So there are different genres of questions that can be asked in an interview or given in a case study. So you should definitely refer to the book Decode and Conquer, and you should also refer to the website, that is productmanagementexercises.com. Pretty good websites, and that can give you a really holistic view of how product management interviews shapes up.
That's great. So yeah, well, like with this, let's get to the last question of this session. So yeah, like you've been into doing product management like for quite some time now. So like in product management, you're trying to solve problems, right? You're building solutions for different problems that, for your customers, or for your business. So like there might be some experience that you might have where you underdid something, like there was a problem and you thought it's easy and solve this problem quite you feel that this solution will be enough, but it wasn't. And while in some scenarios you might overdid something, there was a problem which could have been solved by some simple solutions, but you just went on to it and you try to build, you just put a lot of energy into it. So would you like to share some experience? And also this is very critical part of being a product manager, that which solution would be perfect for the particular problem. So how you work on that, or how you make that decide that how you should approach a problem and what kind of solution you should have.
Yeah, Ankit, it's really very important to understand. Building things, I would say, is very easy, but to understand the rationale that why you're building something is really very important. And I've faced examples in my professional life where I started out building something, and I estimated that it will be a huge project. It will involve a lot of data science and AI and ML and so on and so forth, and then realized that we only had 4 users per week and made no sense to actually build that project. So it's important to understand the rationale that why you are building something, and what can be the overall impact of the thing that you're building, and how many customers it will help, and what are the things, like what is the value that will add to your customer's life and to your business. So that is one important aspect to take care of. So yeah, okay, that's all about it.
Yeah, so that's a pretty decent answer. So with that, we come to close of this particular session, and I really enjoyed bringing up the sessions for you all, and I'm really thankful to Venkatesh for sparing us some time to share this knowledge with all of us. So yeah, before we close, let's get to Venkatesh, and if Venkatesh wants to share some some for our audience, some tips or tricks you want to share, who are really aspiring to get into this field, you want to say something to them. Yeah.
So I'd say that if you want to be product managers, we should really aspire and you should work hard for it. I have made a couple of resources. So I've written a Medium blog of how you can break into product management and what are the skills that are required to be a product manager. So you can refer to my blog. Maybe Ankit can upload,
Yeah, I'll try to do
link
that. Yeah, definitely.
in the description box. The next is, I'm available most of the time on Twitter, so you can contact me on Twitter. And if you need any help with case studies, with product management interviews, or any sort of guidance regarding breaking into product role, I am ready to help you and willing to help you always. So yeah, that's all from my side, Ankit.
So guys, that's all. And guys, if you really enjoyed this session, definitely like and subscribe. And also, guys, do mention your feedback, because that's something that helps us improve. And learning is a lifelong activity, and it's something that's very important. So I'll meet you in the next session, guys. Until then, stay safe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here we